Here it is. This is the Anker Cube. This is a combined charger for iPhones, Apple Watches, and also AirPods. And it's great for your desk and as a travel charger. I love this thing, except for one flaw which I would wish they would fix. Okay, let's take a closer look at this thing. So as I showed before, it has some moving parts to it. It has this nice, really solid hinge, so you can put your phone on this in standby mode, but it also works when it is flat on your desk if you want, but I prefer using it like this so I can actually see it in standby mode as so. So that's great. You can also pop this out, so it doesn't have to get jangled around in your bag when you're traveling, but once you're at your destination, you can pop that out and you have an Apple Watch charger right there. And I would like to note, this is the faster speed variant. The slower speed ones on older Apple Watches and older accessories was 1.8 watts. The newer ones are at 2.4 watts, and this one is a 2.4 watt charger. So it's going to give you the faster speed, which is important. And in here is the AirPods one, where you can just set your AirPods and start charging wirelessly too, which I rarely use, but I appreciate that it is there. Now, I just love the actual industrial design of this. This is a choice, let me tell you, because some of the other ones on the market are sleek, coat hangery kind of things. Like the one that Belkin has is just absolutely not my thing at all. And this is rare. You don't see weird cubes with somewhat sharp edges tubing at all these days. I would also like to note that this thing is pretty small. While it is, in fact, larger than some travel chargers, it is small enough that when I disconnect this and just toss it in my bag, I could easily be shuffling things around to find it. So I think it's great as a desk and a travel charger. But let's get to the thing that really bothers me. You actually already saw it when I was demoing the different moving parts. Okay, let's see if you could guess what it was. Let me demo it again once more for you. That is so sad. This mechanism where it springs out this far, but to get it all the way out, you have to grab it and pull it. And as you're pulling it, you start realizing how wobbly this thing is, because you can feel it because you're forced to actually pull it out. So the spring only goes in this early section and the rest of this is just left to you. It feels cheap, it feels unconfident. And every time I use this thing, everything else is kind of a joy. Like, this feels great, feels really strong. And then this makes me sad. This just makes me sad. And it didn't have to be this way. If they had a better spring mechanism on this to push this fully out, a couple things would happen. First of all, when it would go on its own, that would just be nice. It would feel nice, it would make me happy. But also when it's going independently, then it would kind of tell me how far it needs to go because I didn't have to interfere. But as soon as you need to be the one pulling it out, that introduces your own kind of force to it and your own kind of how careful you have to be, a little bit of nerves with like potentially breaking this thing. Gotta be honest, when it's fully out like this, I don't want to like drop or anything because I'm worried that this would like snap in some way. It hasn't been close to that at all yet, but again, these are thoughts in my head that could be offset with something that's a bit more, rigid, stronger spring to it, less wobbly. That stuff bothers me. So what this made me think of is this idea in design, whether it is products or services, that if you have a really significant flaw, even if everything else about what you're designing is really solid, you are creating this opportunity for people to fixate on this one thing, and maybe justifiably so. If you are running a hotel, and this is a canonical example here, if you run a hotel that has like a great restaurant, great ambiance, and everything else is great, but you don't have hot water running properly in your rooms, everyone is just going to talk about that, complain about that, and they would rate you from 5 to 2 stars because this one thing that you did not solve, which is fundamental to that entire experience. Now, I want to say that this is not nearly that extreme. It's not like that big of a flaw, but it is the one negative in something that overall, I like everything else about the Anker Cube. I just want this to be better. Just better. Better spring, more rigid, more confident, all of that. So Anker, if you're listening, please, in a second revision, make the watch part better. And then this thing, to me, would be flawless. It would be all good. Okay, so to wrap things up, I still completely wholeheartedly recommend this as something that is going to be great on your desk, and then every now and then you can just throw in your bag and use it for travel. I love the idea of not having a separate travel charger, by the way. It just feels so excessive to do that, but this works for both. And maybe if we wait long enough, they'll do a proper second revision that makes this a whole lot better than it currently is. Okay, that's it. I'm Wayne. Thank you for watching, and see you around.